My friend, you didn't lose yourself overnight. What's happening is you're slowly leaking who you are into the things that you're doing. The capacity that you're fighting with, it doesn't give you the full pressure, the full life that you're trying to build. Because every time something happens, it adds to your cup. And your cup can't refill unless you do something about it. You're still showing up for other people, but you're not in your own life anymore. We have to begin to understand that the things that we want out of our lives, the things that we're going after, we're on purpose with. And we have to create that. When you say yes and you don't have the capacity, you ignore what you need. You make decisions under pressure and you call it responsibility. My friend, that's not strength, that's an identity leak. And we have to begin to work on this to build our life and build our identity of who we truly want to be. So the first thing I want to talk about today is the identity leak. And it's not that you're overwhelmed in these situations. It's that you're overridden. There's certain things that you're pushing yourself through when you're not there. You're not ready. And someone goes, hey, can you help me with this? And you're like, sure, yeah, I can do that. But you have other responsibilities that you're kind of pushing off to the side that you want to do to take care of yourself. One of the expressions that frustrates the crap out of me is when people say that self-care is selfish. Self-care is a need that we all need within our lives. And if you begin to think that taking care of yourself first is selfish, you're going to always give yourself away to other people. An example I use all the time is when you're on an airplane and the flight attendant comes on and it's an emergency and the oxygen masks drop down. What's the first thing that they always tell you to do? To put your own mask on first. Because if you're unconscious on the ground because you haven't taken care of yourself yet, how are you supposed to take care of other people? How are you supposed to take care of your loved ones? How are you supposed to really help the way that you truly want to help? Self-care is a need that you must begin to take care of every single day. But when you're doing things for other people, it's never this real big one thing. It's these 50 small little things, these little tasks, these little helps that you're doing. And it doesn't allow you to kind of rebuild. Because just imagine yourself as a cup. I love analogies for you who know me and have been on my page for a while. You know I love analogies. So think of yourself as a cup. And instead of taking like a glass of water and you fill the thing up and then it overflows, you pour a little bit and then a little bit and a little bit. Not enough that you actually notice you're filling the cup, but enough that over time, unless you drink that, unless you do some self-care and lower it, you're going to overflow and you're going to expand. Now, what pressure does within this is when you're like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, I feel so much pressure in my life. What it's doing is it's exposing your truth. It's not actually saying that you're tired or you're frustrated or you're angry. It's telling you, okay, where is my capacity right now? And if your capacity is high, your reactions are going to happen very, very quickly. You're going to be short-tempered. You're going to push people away. Maybe you go into silence. That's one thing I always do when I'm frustrated or tired. I take myself away from everybody. I'm like, look, I can't deal with this right now. And that's not always a good thing either. But I want to remind you of this, my friend, is you're not inconsistent. Your system is. And what we want to do is we want to begin to work on that system so that we can create that outcome in that life that you truly want to do. Now we push ourselves in a moment and we go, okay, why? Like I've tried these things. I've tried to change. I've tried to do these personal development courses. I've tried to listen to the podcast and do the motivation, but why does this just keep happening? It's because you're resetting things at a surface level and you're not going deep into your system. Now, when you work on your system, your operating system, which I call it the life's operating system, it's your head, your heart, and your body. So your head, your thoughts are what controls the things that you're going to do in your life. You have a thought, then you attach that emotion to the thought, which is your heart. And when you attach the emotion to that thought, that makes that thought actually mean something. If you don't attach any emotion to a thought, it's just going to go in one ear, out the other. But once you put emotion to it, that's when things happening. And what this is called is your reticular activating system. And this is the neurons that actually create that part in your brain that tells you something's important. So an example for this would be like when you buy a new car and you're like, I never see this car anywhere. And then you buy it, you drive it off the lot and you're like, oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Because your brain goes, oh, okay, this is important to him now. So I'm going to show him that. And that's kind of how your reticular activating system works. So when you feel like things keep happening and you feel like you're trying to build this system, what it's doing is it's showing you the patterns within your life. And if you don't pay attention to these patterns and you don't create the outcome for these patterns and go, okay, I need to shift this now, your life's going to just remain the same. One of the things that keeps happening for you is that you're built from the outside in, meaning your environment exposes who you are. The people around you expose you who you are. The things that you see expose who you are. And until you understand that this is an inner conflict that you need to move to the outside, you're going to stay exactly in the same process forever. So what we have to do is we have to train that gap. And that gap is between responding to a situation with a pause. And that pause is going to be what happens, your thought, your decision, what you're going to say, what you're going to do. And this is built through that gap. And if you don't control the moment, that moment is going to control you. So I want to teach you to go off a framework. And I called it the identity leak to controlled loop. And what we want to do is we want to stop losing ourselves and staying in control. So the problem is you're leaking, right? Every time you say yes, you don't build the capacity. You ignore what you need and you make the decisions under pressure. So you lose a piece of yourself, not all at once, but small leaks. And these are the things that are going to cost you big within your life. So what's the solution? The solution is a control loop. You stop reacting and you start choosing. So you notice. Number one is you notice the pause. You become aware. Where did I override myself today? What are the things that cause me to go, okay, and just react? Instead of pausing to say, okay, how do I actually want to deal with this situation? The second one is the pause. Now we want to create that pause in the middle, that space to stop deciding at speed, because everyone hates that pause. Now I don't want this video to go on forever, but I could sit here and pause because I've trained myself how to. And that pause is what gives you time to go, okay, the person just said this to me. How do I want to respond? What do I want to say back? Or this situation happened to me, this at work. Here's an example. At work, someone said something to you and you felt disrespected by it. And instead of lashing out backwards, you pause and go, okay, are they having a bad day? Maybe they didn't actually mean what they said. So you could just confront them and be like, what do you mean by that? I feel disrespected when you said that. Is that what you're trying to do right now? And it gains clarification. But if you don't have that pause to choose that action on purpose, it's going to just create it for yourself. And you're going to, create that pressure and you're going to ignore what you truly need. So what I want you to do, my friend, over the next week, I want you to do a daily reset. Tonight, write down, where did I feel pressure? What did I do? And what should I have done? And the next time I will what? Now this creates that system in private so that when you get pressure and you go against something, that is when that outcome is truly going to hit. So on here I said, bottom line, you don't need less responsibility. You need a system that keeps you intact while carrying it. That's it, my friend. That is how you create the outcome. That's how you create the life. Now, what happens when you install this system? You stop disappearing. You start showing up of who you truly want to be. You don't step back. You don't hide. You don't abandon who you are automatically. You are the man that you say and plan on being. You build self-trust. Self-trust is huge. When you stand in front of a mirror and say to yourself, I trust myself. I'm ready to take on this day. Do you feel it? Is that who you are? Or is it something that you fight with every day? Because when you start doing the things that you say that you're going to do, this is when that life that you want is truly built through your identity. You become stable under load. Load is that pressure. Load is those times that you're like, I just need to react right now, instead of pausing and responding. Because pressure doesn't break you, my friend. It doesn't break you. It reveals who you are. It reveals that system you are. And now your system holds because you've built that correct system. Capacity isn't built by doing more. It's built by staying intact with doing it. Now you've realized the biggest thing in your life is not effort. It's reaction. And the things that you do within that pause is what's going to matter on the other side. So if you haven't yet, go watch the next video. Why I react instead of respond. 5 ways driven men control that pause. My friend, you don't need to escape your life. You don't need to get more responsibility. You need to create a system that lets you carry it without losing yourself in the process.